Hello, viewers. How are you? Dr. Shubhagato here. And today I brought another interesting topic, a very relevant, and we all know that something has happened in the US causing mass unrest, right? We all know that, and many of us watched that horrific video which went viral. Now, this topic or presentation is not about that video or the incident. This topic is about behind the scene. That means what led to this particular murder. And this is not only in the US, it is happening across the globe in all countries. I give examples. Custody death. It's a very common custody death. Mob lynching, gang rapes. So those were rampant, right? So this video will discuss and explain what are the physiology, what are the pathology, and what are the circuitry in the brain and our route of evolution that causes this extent of action, behavioral action, which is termed as cruelty. So stay tuned until the end of the video, and I'm very sure that you will find it interesting, informative, and relevant. Okay, so I'm coming to brain now. So the researchers have proven that the human brain starts growing very early or as early as the period of conception, and it matures when the child is 3 years old. So 95% of the brain develops between conception to 3 years of old of a child, right? When the child is 3 years old since conception. Clear? So this 3 years and around, so let us say like 2 years to 4 years, this is the most important duration or period that decides which way the brain to grow. Okay? And this is different for different kids because it is genetically coded. The neural circuits are genetically decided and influenced by the environment. So gene and environment both plays a role hand on hand for the growth of our brain. And what is this brain? I tell in all my presentations, it is the biggest app and not your mobile phone apps. Right? Okay. So the circuits that is guided by the gene and the environment can be modified. And who can modify that? The parents, the teacher, the tutorials, the information, the correct information, the peers, right? So they modulate or influence such development immensely. That's why I always call brain as a muscle. More you use, more it will be robust. So I am coming to The focus point of this presentation, this cruelty. Now, cruelty and altruism, kindness, these are the opposite face of the same coin. And the name of that coin in brain is called amygdala. Amygdala is a gratification center. It gratifies. If you become kind, through kindness, you get gratified. Like people are posting videos of distribution of food to migrant laborers. So they have a selfish interest of such kind of gratification. Some kind of, you know, that people are seeing me that I am a kind hearted person and I am happy that I am being able to project to the society through this particular action, right? The other part, what is cruelty, is that amygdala doesn't respond to the need of another person, the prayer, the plead of another person. It doesn't respond. It's a bell that rings. Okay? That ting 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 doesn't happen in psychopaths. So despite of the victim is urging for, leaving him or her or not to kill him or her, still that action happens into killing, right? So this is psychopathy, where amygdala remains absolutely quiet and unresponsive. Okay? Now I am telling you what is the evolutionary theory, why we behave like that. Darwin's two-part theory is the first theory, where Darwin mentioned that there is always a confusion of selection, whether I will become kind or I will become cruel. Okay. Now this kindness to cruelty, the conversion, the circuit. Say kindness, the circuit, if it is clockwise circuit, cruelty is something like an anti-clockwise circuit. Now who influences the change in the circuit? Number one is again gene and number two is the environment. So they have tremendous influence, effect on our brain, the brain circuitry, which is called as neural circuits. Okay. Now kindness to cruelty, what modifies? What converts? Number one, dominance. That, like I'm the dominant in the society, in the company, in the team, I'm the captain. So that sort of feeling. That feeling, when it is exaggerated inside the brain through multiple circuitry, development of multiple circuits, that is called an authoritarian behavior. That I am the authority, my word is the last word. And my dear friends, that is the onset of cruelty. Now this authoritarian behavior has a motive. What is the motive? A very selfish motive. A selfish motive of being insecure. I give another example. In a lion pride, if the king, that is the adult male lion, if he sees that one of the cubs, male cubs mainly, he is like growing very fast and he is very powerful and very courageous, what he does, he kills his own child because he suffers from insecurity. I am very sure in companies, corporates, lot of people sitting up, they are very insecure. So they don't want any competitor to rise up. So what they do? They give negative report causing termination of that particular employee. Right? We all know that, right? So two selfish motives. One, insecurity leads to killing. Other one is authoritarian behavior leading to cruelty. And both are the prominent signs of cruelty, right? The similar behavior we have seen in our primates like chimpanzees. What they do, if they find anyone in the neighborhood is growing as a leader, the leader in the other neighborhood somehow catches him and kills him. And when he kills brutally to create a precedence to all the males that if you behave like this, you will face these similar consequences, right? So it's all about the dominance, it's all about the selfish motive leading to cruelty, right? Now, I'm coming back to what has happened in the US. We found all these four words that I told you now. Dominance, because I am a policeman, I have power. So, authoritarian behavior, right? Number two. Number three, when the person is still submitting or submissive, is not caring. He keeps on chanting that, well, you cannot win. I will be the winner. Insecurity, right? And number four, cruel way of killing a person, a life. One life has been killed, right? And this is not the stray incidents, it happens everywhere. Some are reported and some are hushed up, not reported, right? So, amygdala, the small center, very small center in the brain, that is a game changer. That changes the game. That changes the circuitry. It decides whether it will go towards kindness or go back to the cruelty. Right? Why I'm saying this? It is a reversible process. The best example is the author of Ramayana, right? Bandit Ratnakar, who used to be a notorious bandit, killing people mercilessly and looting the jewelry and ornaments and money and whatnot, right? Later on, he changed himself to Saint Valmiki. So, this is possible. So, this is possible based on your conscience, your wish, your will, right? Though it is biologically governed, still we can capture the underlying biological pathology and modify into kindness. It's possible, provided we are critical thinkers. We use this app, we rely on the neural plasticity, the brain muscle power, then only it is possible. Otherwise, one becomes the slave, a servant of amygdala. And amygdala decides based on a random selection. It randomly selects, right? So, this is the biology of cruelty summarily. People, audience, viewers who have more interest in learning those, so there are a lot of good books that you can read. And if someone asks me, I can tell you the names of the books as well. So, deep reading is what is very important also to modulate your thought process, to strengthen your thought process so that you can overpower the underlying biological currents, right? Another example I give and I end this particular presentation. You are very angry with someone or very insecure with someone, in your professional life or personal life, and you feel like, let me, take on, but you skip that. You don't fight, you simply skip, you don't confront. You know why? Because of your willpower, because of your critical thought, because you know that fighting is something is secondary. That is not the goal of my life. See, if that police officer would, inculcate that particular feeling that my job is to take care of the law, and by taking care of the law, I can save the society, rather than teaching a lesson to a person who is pleading for breathe, right? The man, I can't breathe. And not one time, repeatedly he told, isn't it? He stated, that's giving pain here and I can't breathe. He did not listen because his amygdala was absolutely silent and non responsive to the person's pleadings, prayers, requests. What is the consequence? He is dead. So that's all for today, and I will bring similar interesting presentations in future as well. So thank you very much for your patience hearing, and I'm very sure you like this video. And if you have any comments, please write in the comment box. Please keep on watching, sharing and subscribing my videos. Thank you very much. Stay healthy and stay safe. Bye.